Hey folks, it's an odd angle. Let me see if I can fix that. When I was first trying to log in, my head filled the entire screen, but like only this much of it. I was like, well then. Hey Zara. Look, I'm on time. Zara, are you coming up? Did I invite you? Let me tune in on my other device. There we go. Oh, here we go.
Hi.
Hi. I don't know what I got all over my shirt, but
This
hey.
is working? Okay, there we go.
Yep.
I mean, I ain't looking pretty either. We're literally talking about humanizing people. If we have to be dressed to the nines to humanize people, then it's already a done deal. You know what I mean?
Right?
We're not going to the
I'm
red
like,
carpet to talk about how we care about human beings. Okay.
I get it. I get it. But I don't want people to think that, I didn't
Yeah.
care enough about human beings to put on a clean shirt. So it's literally just water
Nah.
or something that I spilled on my shirt. But
No. No. That's not how I feel. In fact, I'm gonna wait until there's more people, and I'm gonna thank you openly. Not for the shirt,
okay.
but for you.
Like, I will take my shirt off. Like,
No, 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 no.
yeah, thanks.
With your shirt. No, 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 no. Yeah.
Zara is a racist. Zara's black. Zara can't be racist. But you
Yeah.
can come up and tell us why you think that Zara's a racist.
Is
Like,
this person trans?
please. I don't know.
If they're not trans, then they
Let me
can
take a
fuck
look.
off. But if they're trans, I'll definitely take their white woman HRT fragility.
Don't know if they're trans or not. So,
If you're trans, you can bitch up here. If you're not trans, you can fuck off.
yeah. Let me, I got
You need to be
Will
in the
Sam up
exclusive
here.
club. Sure. Well, now you're just being openly transphobic. So can someone yeet this person from existence? Calling me a tough guy? That's fucked. That's some bullshit.
Are they calling me a tough guy?
I don't know.
Either way. Come on up. If you want to talk your smack, come on up.
Hi, Joker.
Thanks, Mercury.
Thank you, Mercury. Wow, I'm starting
Oh,
to get enough
Mercury
people
blocked them.
to get haters. Fabulous. Starting to get the haters.
Yeah, I get a lot of those. Because I
Yeah,
do like the trans lives, and
yeah,
like you mention, all of a sudden trans men exist, and it
yeah.
throws everything out.
Yes.
You know.
It's really interesting how, like, the duality of people's inconsistence, like, I guess the double think is the word I'm looking for, where people are like,
Mm,
I'm a good person, but I don't mind if this whole population was exterminated by the state.
right?
No, no.
I'm
I'm a
not
good
sure how.
person and I guess. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Anti-trans.
Yes, and
Read any theory on anti-trans masculinity? Mercury, if you want to share me a book or something in my DMs, that'd be awesome. A heated debate is happening about transphobic statements. Share your thoughts. I'm not sure. Zara, are you heated? I'm unheated.
No.
Sam, are you heated?
No, the AI is being.
Not yet.
Go ahead.
No.
I will ask fellow whites or whites for labor. Thank you. Let's see. Let's get
Hey,
myself thrown into
Leah.
media.
Leia. Sorry, I'm like terrible at getting her name. It's Pepsi. Don't come at me. I don't even like imbibe, so.
Oh wait,
Oh,
hold on. I gotta wear a robe with this shirt.
oh,
I wear monocolors as a woman that has a chest. It may fucking be like you're naked and ban me. Hold on, let me put layers on so I can be
really?
appropriate for the misogynistic. Yes, I wore a camisole once, and it live stream banned me for 3 days. So hold on, let me just make sure I'm
3?
completely conservatively covered up. There we go. Now I can be as ashamed and hidden of my body as appropriate as TikTok requests. Let's try this again. There we go.
Well, you look pretty. Um,
Thanks.
Dirty
Um,
Dr. Pepper. I haven't
Go
had a
ahead.
dirty Dr. Pepper, but I love Dr. Pepper. Sorry, go ahead.
What's a dirty Dr. Pepper? I don't even know what that means.
I just heard about this
Um,
too.
it's Dr. Pepper with like some sort of caffeinated stuff in it. Because I think it was some Mormons. Yeah, I'd creamer to soda.
Yeah, it was
Oh,
like
okay.
milk.
Sorry. Obviously now we just got my
Oh,
reaction
wow. Why?
to soda and creamer and lime. That's curdling. Why would that would curdle it? That would the lime
Lime?
would curdle the
With
milk.
lime?
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know.
Lime would curdle the milk. Like
You know, that has
it
to be
doesn't
like
curdle the
someone's
milk.
like who someone. I mean, that has to be like someone who needs a
Don't
certain
dis-
texture kind of thing. Huh.
It's
That's interesting.
it's not sitting good in my mouth right now. Oh, hang on, I gotta put my thing on.
That's so interesting. I never would have thought of such a drink.
Yeah, I think
Okay,
it
let's
comes
give
from
it
like
another 3 minutes. So
Mormons.
13-minute mark. Oh, go ahead. Oh, okay.
Uh,
Well, Mercury's also saying Southeast Asia. I see.
okay. Well, they could have swiped it from them too.
Of course.
That wouldn't be hardly par from the course, would it?
Probably ruined it too.
Oh, probably.
But how old is Pepsi? Like, when was the first Pepsi
Oh, Pepsi's
made?
forever. I don't know. Who's
Yeah, okay.
requesting up?
Well, I mean, but like,
Okay. Oh, Mercury.
what kind of actual forever? Right? I mean, it's
All
not
right, Mercury.
literal.
Are you going to school us on the
There's
dirty
eventually
Dr.
a point
Pepper?
it was first made.
Yeah, sorry. Is it's
So
just
when was Pepsi first made?
oh, I'm not sure when Pepsi was first made. I do know that like it's a thing with cola drinks in general, like the creamer and lime. Um but Mormons like basically culture appropriated it, which made it popular in the US.
They gotta dumb it down first.
Debating what anti-trans masculinity means. Share your thoughts on the topic. We weren't even talking about that. We were talking about Pepsi. Zara, are you frozen? You have 1 or 2 bars. There we go.
No,
Yep.
I just have a poor connection.
Okay. Now you're. Now
Yeah,
you're
it
moving.
just sucks.
Okay.
It's just kind of, it is what it is. Yeah,
Sorry.
that's okay. So in one more minute, we'll get officially going. Kay, are you able to come up today? What am I looking for, Discord?
I have had quite the few days. I went out to staple up some flyers, and my staple machine broke. Oh my goodness! If I do that, you like completely lose my face. So my staple machine broke. So then I had to go order another one. So I wasn't able to do the stapling that I had planned on the other day, and whew, it was rough. It's just been one of those days. One of those days where the universe has other plans and you just have to roll with it.
Right.
Mercury, I saw your hand up.
Yes.
I just wanted to elaborate on my comment from earlier. One of my close friends for some years now, she is a Black transfeminist theorist. She writes a lot of progressive theory, and she has quite a few essays on like anti-trans masculinity. Just because I heard someone at the beginning talking about trans masks and men, but I can definitely send those sources after we get off.
That'd be great. That would be amazing. I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
For sure. Okay, well, we're going to start now. We gave some time just to see if people are going to roll in. So, first and foremost, I wanted to, before I even read the opening statement, I wanted to thank PAX's consistency. I wanted to thank PAX for still doing this. I wanted to thank PAX for making themselves available to do this. I know, unfortunately, despite whatever I do, however I may present myself, whatever I know, because of the systemic racism and the everyday complicity of everyone who perpetuates it, and I've seen it with my own experience with my TikTok profile, for example. I do not, I'm not permitted to be an effective, I'm not permitted to be a far-reaching communicator. That's it. I can be an effective communicator, but I'm not permitted to be a far-reaching communicator because the way in which everyday people and the system itself in tandem limit me and others like me. Like even in this recent discourse online, I'm getting like little hints of where they're talking about the erasure of Black trans people as being like apparent within the discussion, and yet the people are still doing it, right? They're not actually going out and amplifying Black trans women. I'm not hearing that from the Black trans women or Black trans people in general that are in my circle on here. So even this whatever debacle or contention online is, the discussion of Black trans people is not humanizing. It is theoretical, even by the very ones claiming they're trying to humanize Black trans people. So your help, PAX, is quite instrumental for me to do what I want to do so that we, be you, I, and the rest of us, can actually cohesively work. It's very frustrating. I wish I didn't even have to be, I wish I didn't even have to feel thankful. Like, I'm aware that the gratitude I'm feeling is from a place of so much consistent racial abuse that I have like an inch of relief in a white person being consistently useful and not and to like, hold the carrot for me. So I have to like jump for further aid. Um, so I thank you, and I want to make sure that I thanked you publicly.
I appreciate your thanks. I really do. It's the I wish I could do more,
Yeah,
and I'm always looking to do more.
the open letter
Your connection is really spotty, Zara.
of
Is it just mine?
No, it's
Sam?
on my end as well.
Okay. Yeah, Zara,
there.
you're intermittent. So we're just gonna give Zara
Hello?
a minute. Hey, there we go. There we are. Hi.
Hello?
Now we can see you. You were intermittent. Hi. Oh, I think we got a little bit of a lag
For
there.
me to do. Hello?
Hi.
Hello?
Yep.
This is working. I'm trying the Wi-Fi, but the Wi-Fi also sucks. So I don't know. Any better?
Well, it seems to be working a little bit better.
Yeah, this is a lot
seems to be
better right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the internet in Canada. It's just the house I'm at is old, and for some reason, both the phone signal and the Wi-Fi suck. So I don't have the ability to change that because I'm impoverished. So this is the best I can do. I'm going to restart reading the letter. This is an open letter of rage, opening myself the degrading pain of seeking still that neural path in the minds of others to experientially perceive me as human. To write the necessity of this sacrifice facing towards the transgender community tells a long history, a handed down belief that the true transgender community isn't, wasn't, and will never be Black, and a subculture of outcasts. There too, still, is the same society, one of gleeful master and lowly slave. You have stolen my languages, generations of autonomy, the dignity of a respectable death, forced the horror of being birthed into the subjugation. But on it went. How still Black trans people fled chattel slavery and found themselves in unfreedom, unshackled, yet still captive in the colony you call home. Black trans people made a new language, a new scene, a world away, and you too stole that, saying that the very structure which makes you human, showing its cruelty towards you, permits you the moral crimes you commit. And this is the worst failure of understanding in the transgender community. You are a human being branded for deviancy for your gender expression, and me and mine are loathed subjects, further perversing ourselves. Black transgender people die because they are forced onto a planet and its white supremacist world, which deems that Black self-determination ought to never exist. And you all have played your parts in this open colonial dominion. Do the neurons pass the voltage in such a winding way as to regard the anguish of this rageful writing? Or do the neural pathways spark to avoid, deny, or dismiss this societal pathologizing? Rationally, I should be running away from you all, each in your inheritance of whiteness or permitted proximity to the white social structure. rationally. There is not a generation of you that has shown the radical persistence and self-examination to create a new world on this planet that meets what you say out loud. Believe of yourself. And yet, here we are, the outcasts and the perverted slaves, stuck in one category, gender deviant. You reach for the lipstick, the razor, the dress, or the blazer, yet I see the whip just the same behind the new gender adornment. You have changed, but remain no different in your character. Black transgender people made the world the queer frame of reference in which you live and understand yourself. You have pillaged and colonized this world, and this is the core of my rage. You steal and forcibly shape to your use what my people make by the spirit filled with the innocent will to live. You are the stewards, the representation of nothing, just violent consumers who weep that this life is unfair over my people's bones. With my people's language, this conversation is an insistence of me and mine in a new generation colliding against queer complicity to genocide and racial caste. I interact with you with the love I have for my fellows to not be killed or neglected by your cold shoulder to atrophy and cease. As those in the transgender community, the gender diverse who do so without the fatal mark of Black and Indigenous skin, how will you meet my rage and my rational criticism? I know what you tell yourself, the same things you have for generations, which internally permit your extraction, theft, and pillaging. But when face to face with the branded, othered architects of the trans world, what will you do? Expectations and rules regarding conduct of this gathering. 1. The introduction will be read each session. Along with these expectations and rules, both are subject to change as I see fit. 2. This is a trans space for trans people to discuss racism, segregation, and interracial political formation within the trans community. We acknowledge that trans includes a multitude of identities that span cultural context and unique gender expression. Ultimately, this is a space for gender variant people who see anti-trans political sentiment in legislation as a grave danger. This conversation will be centered within the US and Canadian context, but others are welcome to join. 3. There may be some moderators who are not trans, but are trusted to help moderate racism within this space. Ideally, over time, trans people can be trusted in this role, but these shifts in people will need to happen organically. 4. Black and Indigenous voices will always have the priority. Racialization is a critical element of discussing and experiencing racism. Thus, we will prioritize based not only on ancestry, but the racialization to oppose colorism and futurism. If any non-BIPOC trans people interrupt BIPOC trans people, they will have 2 strikes, and then they will be asked to leave the conversation. 5. We will acknowledge our disabled peers by conversing one at a time. Currently, it will be myself and Trunkel Pax who will update and determine chat order for now. The speaking one at a time ensures those with hearing or communication processing needs have the ability to follow along better and contribute to the conversation. A desire to communicate will be expressed by a hand emoji in chat or if verbally asked by a host to ask those who wish to speak next. And I also want to add that I need to edit this, also a hand raise in the camera, but I'll continue. 6. When introduced, you will be expected to present your age to verify you're an adult for TikTok, your race, pronouns. You will be encouraged to also share your trans experience, male to female to male, non-binary, two-spirit, etc. 7. BIPOC people comparing their experience to anti-Blackness or anti-Indigenousness will not be tolerated. Appropriation of Black slang and AAVE will be addressed as it happens to stop the cultural theft. To be in this space is to acknowledge the fact of Black slave resistance and liberation being a critical element of making current LGBT plus culture, even if you're not aware how by historical details. 8. While myself and Trunkel Pax are hosting the space, We will hold that other BIPOC trans people are also leading voices in the conversation. Non-Black and Indigenous people will hold them in high regard. And 9, this is not a safe space. This is a protective space for Black and Indigenous trans people. We are permitted, nor will we be restrained expressing our experiences and emotions regarding colonization. For non-BIPOC trans people, you are expected to self-regulate, contact non-BIPOC peers for help with self-regulating, and doing emotional labor, validate Black and Indigenous peers. White centering and white fragility will be addressed immediately. The captured culture already centers you in every moment of every day. It is time to share. And with that, we are here and we begin. Thank you.
Awesome.
Hi,
Once
thanks for
again, I've
coming as
lost my
well.
mute button.
Oh, because you're not on the little device you were last time, were you?
I'm on my iPad or my tablet, but I swear it moves every time.
Okay.
Every time.
Well, so how do you feel about the constant tension that for the next 2.5 hours you can't make any unexpected sound? And if you do, I perceive it as the ultimate disrespect. Just the tension.
I could find my camera. I
Damn.
could turn off my camera. I just can't turn off my mute. My
Can someone help
God.
them? I'm not good with this. Like, cause I don't even know how to put like images. Like people know how to use their phone still and like put images, like cutouts and stuff when they're talking about stuff. I don't even know that stuff. So if someone can help them for a minute, it's worth the time.
Well, because the interface looks different on the iPad, right, than the phone.
Right?
Well, what? Oh, go ahead. What device are you on right now, child?
I am on my Samsung tablet.
Okay, I believe it's different because on the phone, if you hit the gear for settings at the bottom,
Oh, really?
mute your microphone should be one of the first options after that.
I've got marked viewers, voice monitoring, muted accounts, moderators, ranking. Like it's just missing.
That's
Let's just
weird.
see if the voice
Yeah.
monitoring comes up. I am using Bluetooth. Oh,
It's a
Bluetooth
shame, like,
is-
unlike Discord, you can't share your screen, you know?
Yeah. Well,
Oh, Davina said tap your box, then the 3 dots. Don't know what that means though.
okay. No, I get it.
So I'm gonna just give someone a reflection as you're doing that.
Yeah, go ahead.
When I read this statement has been made over. Oh, let me move myself up a little bit. Hi. Okay. Has been made by a repeated learning. That is what wisdom is. It's repeated learning. It's not data points. To come to the understanding I have to write the opening statement. And I'm curious, Sam in particular, now that you've heard this statement, I think 3 times, what comes to you as I read the opening statement? As you keep hearing it while we keep having these conversations?
Shut up and listen. Like,
Hmm.
stand down and it kind of, I guess the word would be empathy. I feel, I don't know how to explain it, but I don't feel what you're feeling, but I feel it. I feel like the dread, the despair, but not at the threshold that it reaches for you, um I feel a sense of urgency to to get going, to find like avenues and just, in lack of better terms, figure this out. What now? What's the next step? Like, okay, what are we gonna do? In my head, like, to myself, gets me motivated. Um,
I'm gonna move on to Kay, okay?
Yeah, sure.
Before I do that, Pax, do you need to vocalize a question or anything? Okay. About your
No,
technical difficulties? Okay. Kay?
still
Oh, good.
suffering.
Still suffering. Okay. I thumbs up you through it, not your suffering. Kay, now that you've attended the last one in a participatory, yes, fashion, and then you heard the statement this time, what do you think of the opening statement after what you learned and experienced last time?
Hi. Oh, can you guys hear me?
Oh, child, you're far away.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Is this better? I just have to talk louder.
I'll just turn myself up.
Okay. I think
Don't
it
strain
might
your
be
voice.
wrong with my device. I definitely what stands out most is you clarify like then again like mentioning that all of the whole queer community, every single part of it, and basically any single part of culture is made and curated and by the resilience and perseverance of Black and Indigenous people, and especially that part when you said that even with white trans people, when we transition and everything, that it that specific part when you were like you can pick up the lipstick, the razor, the dress or the blazer, everything like that. That I know that a lot of white trans people and white queer people minimize the harm like that we do because of our other marginalizations, and that we have to put we have to understand that the way that we move through society is our whiteness is first. That's the first thing that is noticed, and that we need to and it goes back to the conversation we were having last time about understanding empathy, how I could like conceptualize it, but I need to focus on I need to put it to actual practice. And that has a lot to do with decentering myself, decentering my whiteness, decentering whiteness in general. And that it's so needed in this specific work, and also just in practice with empathy. It has a lot to do with decentering oneself. And although I will never fully understand the lived experience of Black and Indigenous trans people, but I like the whole thing about empathy is kind of like putting yourself in someone else's shoes, like tuning into the emotion, tuning into the like being present, tuning into exactly like the emotion that even last time when you when someone did a check-in and you said that this is miserable. This is miserable. Noticing your facial expression, noticing the way that you're reacting to the harm that we're perpetuating, and just focusing on that and centering that, and centering you and other Black and Indigenous people instead of whiteness. But that's mainly like the biggest thing, that, and especially since like that part about you saying like white trans people, we do not represent anything. We do not, because we don't earn that. Any single type of any single sector of queer culture has all been curated, all been innovated by. Oh, sorry.
Oh, I was waving to her. Thank you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that all queer culture is created by Black and Indigenous people, and it's in no way for white trans people to come in and colonize that and steal that. But yeah, I think I got it covered. I think what I wanted to say.
I have another question for you. Do you feel as nervous this time?
No, I don't. I think when I after after the last time that I showed up, and I was thinking about my nervousness and stuff like that. That even though like I'm diagnosed with anxiety, I need to 100% as much as I can decenter my own emotions. I need to like, and as you said, like white trans people need to regulate themselves in this in this space 100% in all spaces. We need to regulate ourselves. So I think that I realized that like by how anxious I was last time, just with social anxiety and just being up here, that even in that, it was still kind of making me center myself and not be as present in the conversation, and to actually, you know, like dig deep into my psyche and my past experiences, especially when we were talking about like empathy, and conceptualizing and practicing that. That the anxiety kind of made my mind go blank, and I was centering myself. And I need to actually be present. And I did take like the breathing session that we did last time. I have been putting that to practice. I have.
Hey.
So it definitely has helped me a lot. And I feel way less, you know, anxious, and I'm ready to do the work and be completely transparent.
Mercury, did you want to say anything? I don't want to just hog it, you know, being the other BIPOC queer person here. I don't want to necessarily hog it. If you had anything to say, I can keep going. I'm just checking in, Mercury.
No, hey everybody, I'm Alex. Just so you know, I'm here. I'm just moderating the space. I'm also Black, trans, non-binary person. My pronouns are they, them.
Okay. Thank you. I'm going to keep going. So, Kay, I'm curious. I have
found the
a
mute button. Thank you, Brock.
Woo! Great. So I'm going to
Teamwork.
ask a tough question, and I want to repeat to everyone. The reason we are asking these questions and we're exploring these openly is not only does the person go through individual learning, people go through vicarious learning together, right? People can take what's being seen and internalize it to their own stuff, even if they don't have the exact same reason or like experience. They can take elements and that we're communally learning, right? And also, there's a third reason. The third reason is that all of you can start feeling community with each other. Because again, that is a massive block in order to cohesively have a decolonial practice. You have a way of networking for self-protection and racial exclusion and preference, but that's not the same as community. I want you to all think about that as just passively as we keep going. So to my question though, Kay, how much of your anxiety was driven, or sorry, I didn't mean to say that, I didn't in that way. How much of what you were feeling do you believe was driven by your neurodivergent nervous system experience versus whiteness and being confronted with whiteness, about your whiteness?
I think it's definitely it. Oh wait, you can hear me right? Okay, I think it's definitely a good mixture of both. Recently, like when I went into Joker's live, and also Ren was there. They gave me like in Joker's like links. There's also resources to actually like seeing the characteristics of white supremacy and white fragility, or like individualism, perfectionism, all that. And that's helped me kind of identify behaviors in my last conversation, kind of prioritizing like how I kind of was prioritizing my own white fragility by kind of not being like completely transparent. I know last time one of the mistakes that I made not mistakes. I'm not going to use that word because one of the things that I did that perpetuated harm was saying specifically like I want to say the right thing or something like that. And and how you said that makes you feel othered and that sorry, I'm losing track of thought. That definitely I think has to do with that kind of perfectionism that others people, if I'm getting it right, if it's like I'm not being actually transparent. I was in that moment, and I was like prioritizing my white fragility or optics, or I'm trying to find the word that my brain wants to say. Kind of like prioritizing not, thank you, Joker, not prioritizing not making mistakes instead of actually prioritizing learning and being present and empathizing and doing better and doing yeah. So yeah, I think sorry, yes.
You don't have to say sorry. I just sometimes I may raise hand to try to like steer a little bit. So I'm hearing, and please correct me, but I'm hearing a little bit of confusion still, where you're like, I'm willing to listen, Zara, I'm willing to learn. You said it was othering, but I'm kind of iffy as to why. Is that correct?
I think that my confusion is identifying exactly the harm, the tenets of white supremacy that was in that behavior, and I totally understand. Well, not fully. I don't understand your lived experience, but I understand, as you said last time, specifically, and I quote that you said, no matter how diplomatic that you come to these spaces, that there are white people like me still tiptoeing around and still acting like there is some kind of threat when there's absolutely not. And I totally understand. I've been reflecting on that a lot, and how that type of behavior, not being fully transparent and tiptoeing around subjects is 100% othering and only actually upholding my own whiteness. Yeah, but again, I will never fully understand your lived experience, and I understand that.
I'm going to talk again. So, I want everyone in the room, thank you so much, Kay, for sharing that. You're doing a very good job. Everyone, you don't need to respond, but internally, let's all take a moment to feel appreciative of this young person being very vulnerable. It is what we need if we're going to actually get anywhere. So thank you. So in this conversation that we're navigating between Kay and I want everyone in the room to realize that we're having to, and it's okay, but I want to explain this. We have to go slow. We have to go steady. We have to peel this layer by layer. But what do you think is happening as we are having the macro, right? The big interactions, the groups of queers, trans people particularly, as this is a trans conversation, trans people that are not Black and Indigenous or POC even, and then those that are more aligned or permitted to be proximal to whiteness or are racially white. Imagine that what Kay shared, is going on, in a large collective sense, in this one group's mind, and then the other group suffers it. What does it mean to have, oh, I'm sorry, Mercury, I don't even see him. It's TikTok. Whatever you're writing, Mercury, I don't even see it. so I can't even help you. I guess it would have to be Pax anyway because it's not my life. But let me get back to this. I want you to imagine what Kay is sharing and then multiply that to a room of people, mixing it with groupthink. And then you have racial contention or a racial dynamic that needs to be brought up. Starting with Sam, if we take what we have found within Kay, that Kay is discovering, Kay, what are your pronouns again? They, them?
Yes, they are.
Within themselves. And we take that and we apply it to a room of people, a queer of trans people that are not Black or Indigenous. And then we had Black and Indigenous trans people in that same space. What do you think would happen?
Could you repeat the first part of the question?
Sure, of course. So you know how this conversation Kay and I just had here right now, right? And we're
Yeah,
like Kay is still trying to figure out what the pain is, and like we have to take this amount of time to
right,
bring it down, and you know like how much Kay is discovering like there's anxiety, but there's also white supremacy in their behavior,
right,
right? But these are things we've had to draw out between two well, this is going to be the second, but so far one multi-hour conversation and then this other multi-hour conversation, right?
right,
So imagine you're in a room of people that are both trans, white and non-Black and Indigenous and Black and Indigenous, and they have all that stuff that's going on in this group in their mind, like Kay,
right,
and you put them
right.
together. What do you think would happen?
Yeah, I can see it. How do I put it in words? Uh, how do I say this respectfully too? Because I say it, I would, I'm saying it how I would say it to another white person, but how do I say it with that context? Um, so it's not just othering. Like I'm gonna try to explain like the contrast in emotion. Like you will look at us and just be like, uh, we're all just talking with ourselves, trying to like figure out like, is it racism or I'm not at all trying to denounce it, like anxiety or anything, but it's kind of you're focusing too much on that. It's like it's frustrating to if I can't say that, but I would if I was a spectator, I would see the frustration. Like you're all just still focusing on yourself. You're all just still trying to figure out if it's white supremacy or not or whatever. It is. So just let's get past that part and like stop the meat grinder kind of situation. Um, that's what
Um, oh, sorry, I thought you were done.
I mean, yeah.
Joker, excuse me. Go ahead and write what you want, Joker, but I'm going to respond. No, Sam, you're still missing the
Okay.
point. Okay? I'm going to get up. I'm going to do a dramatic reenactment. Okay? If you have a
Let's do it.
bunch of trans people that act like any trans indigenous people, they have to go, oh my God. Oh, 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 I don't want to say that. Oh, right? And
Right.
that's pretty much what they're
Right.
doing internally, right? And you have a group
Yes.
of them, right?
Yes.
And then you have people like myself or Mercury, for example. That's dangerous. That is genuinely a dangerous situation, right? Because the inherent relationship is the people going, oh, oh, ah, right? It is because they perceive we are the mines, right? We are the landmines that are going to explode. We are the danger. We are the force that's going to be reckoning. And so it must be avoided, but it's not going to be what only avoidance that the non-Black and Indigenous trans people are going to do. They will do avoidance and they will do control and they will isolate and they will expel. The reason this group, this interaction we're having is functional is because it is built on a foundation, and I have to admit, with Pax's whiteness benefiting me and being in proximity to me, This conversation even is only possible because we are in a space where we are establishing that I need to be centered and heard, and that all the emotional labor I am doing to not be too confrontational. Even I have every right to be angry, upset, and even openly rageful if the things that were happening from your conduct before, or Kay's conduct, or even sometimes some of the things Pax has said in mistake, right? Like, but if I and others, and we're often few in comparison to the larger group, not always, we don't even have to be few, it just reinforces the power dynamic. If we try to approach in a room where there's not this inherent power structure of this social setting, of this live built in, the ways in which you have described some of your own thinking within your own white supremacy and white fragility, and like the white supremacy and white fragility that Kay expresses, are genuinely dangerous to me and others like me. Because in a group setting, you will racially prioritize. You will do everything to avoid like that, and then you will do everything once you have enough whites that will do it, or if you happen to be in the group and you happen to have enough authority, you will then shove us out while rationalizing to yourself, I'm the good person. They were just so
Right.
violent. They were just so dangerous. Like, I'm not racist. It was just that what they were doing was not appropriate for the group setting. And then all the other whites would be like, yeah, yeah, of course, of course. No, we're not racist. Yeah, that was just their behavior was inappropriate. Yes. So when I see your behavior, I see Kay's, right. Kay is just one young white queer. One young white queer sharing their feelings, sharing their anxiety, sharing their internalized white supremacy. But every time I see any of you sharing these things with me, I'm reminded of how dangerous you are. Because especially in group formation and with authority position and power dynamics, you all are so terrifying because of what you will do out of those drives and internal motivations that you and Kay have shared. It's not just that the white people or the non-Black and Indigenous people will go, I have
Right.
anxiety, I'm unsure. With group dynamics, especially, no. You will do more than just that. You do more than just that, and you have done more than just that. I would like to hear, what do you think, Kay, about that? What I just shared.
I definitely I definitely like I fully understand that. Even when you're saying that, like, we're in this conversation with me that's going so slow that I'm slowly learning and peeling back the layers. Even that is harmful. The amount of emotional labor and the amount of harm that I perpetuate during that process is still it is still obvious. Like it's highly perpetuating harm just in general in a group like a group. Um, that's definitely just a mass othering experience for Black and Indigenous people, trans people. I yes.
I'm going to give you a little hypothetical exercise. I want you to imagine yourself, last conversation, and you do a slight, right? And we'll just even use me, right? And prepare everyone. I'm going to speak a little louder. I'm going to speak a little more strongly for emphasis of this experience. And we're in a group setting, right? And it's largely non-Black and Indigenous trans people, right? And let's assume that all of those people largely have a frame of reference like yours, okay? And especially think of yourself last time. And you do something, and I go, that's racist. Why are you degrading me this way? I'm tired of it. I have enough of it. And I just say this loudly, openly in the room. I don't care if there's like 5 other people that you and I happen to be talking in a circle with, and we're in even a larger room. You tell me how that would go down.
So responding to the hypothetical, while 100% you would be valid in that reaction, and we know this, that in a group setting, just overall, I know that white fragility would just immediately explode. The conversation at hand of the harm that I perpetuated would completely be overlooked because of the amount of literally explicit bias that white people and white trans people, of course, like act and perpetuate. It definitely would then backlash on like you and your valid reaction, and not even, and that white fragility wouldn't hold me accountable for the harm that I perpetuated. Yeah. I hope I got my words out. Yes.
I'm going to challenge you again, and I don't need to speak loudly again. So one of the things I keep challenging people is the romanticizing language, right? Or language that softens and avoids. So when we say, quote, it would backlash, end quote, I'm going to shift this question to Sam, actually. When Kay said it would backlash, end quote, like onto me, what is the it that would backlash onto me? What is that obscuring?
It would be obscuring your emotion and having like the kind of groupthink ideology of like, are you like talking to hypothetically to Kay, like, are you okay? Like, to try to comfort Kay. The term backlash. I'm losing the question.
That's okay. Do you want me to try again?
Yeah.
Okay. So Kay was describing the hypothetical that what if I just said, fuck it, I hate social decorum, I'm done with this, I'm just calling this shit out for what it is because I'm tired of hiding racism behind civility. I'm going to bring it up in front. And we're in a room full of people that are functioning at Kay's level, which is basically no decolonization whatsoever, right? Especially if we're taking Kay's behavior from last time Kay was here. And we had a whole room of people like that. And I'm just like, nah, fuck it, right? And I just called it out, right? And then I asked what would happen in the hypothetical. Then Kay gave an answer and said in a group setting that it would backlash on me. To me, Zara, right? It would backlash on me. So what is the What is the it and what is the backlash? I'm
That's
saying
the part
it's
I'm trying
not
to
being specific. What is it obscuring?
I don't really understand the backlash on you. Like, I guess that's the question.
Sam,
I know if it was
what is
phrased differently.
what did Davina write?
Perfect. Yeah.
So what's the
But
it?
backlash that would go back on you would be like the white supremacy. I can't find an answer. I'm
Okay, that's okay. So I'm gonna go back to Kay then. Kay, what is it would backlash obscuring when you say it that way?
First, I want to thank you for pointing that out. And I definitely that it is obscuring and as Davina said, the violence and racism of the situation that you would then experience when when you are validly reacting to me perpetuating harm and other white people like me on the same, like as you said, like barely even decolonized mindset that the people in the room, the white people in the room, would prioritize my comfort and then turn on your valid reaction and spew racism and just overall violence, specifically, that then obscures the whole conversation at hand, and not holding me like responsible. Yeah.
Okay, can you see the screen?
Yes.
Like you're able to see? Okay. What did Banksia wrote? What did they write? Actually, maybe their pronouns are on here. No, there's no pronouns. But what did Banksia write?
Isolation, violence, ostracism. Am I saying that right?
Mm-hmm.
And racism. Yes, absolutely. Thank you for helping me find those words.
So let's try this again. So what you're saying is that in a group setting, if I call you out, or someone like a hypothetical version of you out in a group setting, right? You and yours would choose violence to deal with me, right? It's not, it would backlash on me. It is me and mine would choose to be violent in response to you seeking humanity. When we frame it that way and we really write it and say it out loud that way, Kay, what does that sound like and invoke to you emotionally?
It just really is like a prime example of the dynamic between like me oppressing as someone that benefits off of oppression, that dynamic of marginalized communities such as Black and Indigenous trans people, just seeking humanity, just decency, and the violence that is immediate, that is the violence, the ostracization, the racism that is that white people respond with.
Catalyst. Sorry, I thought you were done.
Oh, I just wanted to just add in at the end. I don't know why I have any points or Sam has any points. The only person that should be gifted up here is Zara. So please gift. That's all I wanted to say.
Sometimes that happens
When
if people
somebody
said
follows
like
you, you'll
like if people are tapping the boxes, it'll give like 2 points.
Yeah, I thought maybe it was a mistake. I'm sorry.
yeah, and if somebody follows you as well, you can get points.
Know that.
But thank you for reminding. Zara, while I'm cutting in here, I apologize for cutting in. Are you wanting anybody more up on the panel? And I wanted to also check in on you and see how you're doing.
Well, if we can get more non-Black and Indigenous trans people actually up here participating, that would be good. Right now, I'm curious. I'm in a very curious place. I like what Kay is doing. I feel there's some refining I'd like to do with what Sam's doing, but I'm also thankful. But I'm really uplifted specifically with what Kay is doing in this conversation so far. So thank you. Catalyst, I'd like to welcome you. Would you please state your age for TikTok, your race, and your trans experience for us so we can understand you positionally? Thank you.
Hey, Zara, thank you. Catalyst here from South Africa, trans woman of color, she, her, 46. And what a wonderful conversation to happen upon. Yeah, this is wonderful. Is there any specific prompt or can I respond to something that I've just kind of picked up?
You're welcome to say whatever you want. As a woman
Mm,
of color, you are a trans woman of color, you are a leading voice here. It is the
mm.
responsibility and moral compulsion of the non-Black and Indigenous trans people here to do emotional labor for you and center your experience.
Thank you. Wow, I'm from South Africa, hey, so I do come from a context of really, you know, systemic and deep-seated racism, and also in queer spaces. And so, I mean, you also holding the space like this is just feels like such a treat. I was listening to Kay. I'm not sure if their name is Caden or Kay. And the topic, yeah, and the topic that you were discussing, and what I'm also finding is that from from how our society is structured, there is definitely that chasm that exists between white and people of color queerdom, and it is so seeped into not even our interactions, but also how we move about and how we view each other. But I was listening to Kay, and Kay came to bits of realizations and awarenesses that I feel is a wonderful moment. Maybe not the end moment, but a moment that is so necessary to reach when you want to reach out and show in a way that is holding and equal and embracing of the integrity of everyone. And I'm appreciative for the space where I can see that this is happening. But then again, when you get with non, people who are not indigenous or not people of color in queer spaces, there's where before we had to make ourselves smaller, in South Africa, for example, and shrink a little bit back because of discrimination and all these things. In queer spaces now, I still have to do, where it was fear based before, now I still have to do the emotional labor for someone who is coming forward. And I think someone here mentioned something about weaponizing tears and also weaponizing the fragility inside a space. And now I have to do the emotional labor to make this person feel okay and not uncomfortable, because they are being faced and being, confronted with the ways in which they act harmful. And now they are woe is me inside a space. And now I have to comfort them. And I feel that that kind of situation should not be my job. I'm not sure how the conversation flows here. This is my first time visiting, so.
So I'm going to guide the white people on the panel just a little. Um,
Mm,
I'm going to ask each of you, and you're not going to respond to me. I just want to make sure that doesn't happen either, because there is a little bit of a power dynamic. You need to actually be centering this woman when you answer. I'm just prompting a question to kind of help you humanize because you're still learning, frankly. What do you want to say to a trans woman that is almost 50, that has had to live under racial terrorism in queer spaces her entire life and still will continue to live in racial terrorism, including in queer spaces, for many years to come, more than likely? What would you say to her? She's here with us. Go one at a time.
The first thing that comes to my mind is I'm sorry that you are having to experience this and will continue to experience this. And second thing that comes to my mind is what can I do to help? Um, the third thing that comes to mind is I wish I could do something. Um, I. Let's get deconstruction. Um, I'll give someone else a chance to speak.
I'm going to interrupt that pattern real quick. Sam, real quick actually. Catalyst, do you consent for me attempting to use what you've shared as a teaching moment, or would you not like that today? And you have every right to say no.
Sarah, you may. I'm here. I'm here for that.
Okay. All right.
All
So
right.
we're going to stop the progression of the other white people. We're going to go back. Sam, I need you to read what Joker just wrote. What is Joker's answer and response to Catalyst doing?
Humanizing.
So you need to try again in your own words because you did not.
Right.
If you would like a moment, I will say this. If you need a moment to think about it more in detail, say that
Shouldn't have to.
now, and then we'll come back. I know we shouldn't have to, but if you need it, then that's where we're at.
Um,
I'm
I
going to put you in the
appreciate you.
back. I'm going to
Okay.
put you in the back of the queue because that took a long time, and that silence is painful.
That in
That is not
itself.
only painful for Catalyst, it's also painful for me and Mercury. So we're going to put you in the back of the queue, and then we'll have you come back up again. Okay, what would you like to say to Catalyst?
I know that I will never have your lived experience, but just hearing your vulnerability and you just explaining to us everything that you went through. And I'm sorry, did you say that you're from South Africa? Is that where she said?
Yes,
Yes.
that's correct.
Thank you so much. The extreme marginalization that you must have gone through in countries that are obviously just like way less accepting of queer community. And then also still even in these spaces still experiencing the harm perpetuated, still having to do emotional labor to basically just like to call like the emotional labor that you go through when white people like me are just this slow of understanding and deconstructing and everything, how harmful that must be to continue to experience, and how that interaction alone of that interaction alone of like having of having to like basically just coddle the white fragility is that in itself is just like the way that like the white people that white people perpetuate and I perpetuate harm and uphold whiteness even in that interaction, and that I with me and other white trans people, white people just in general, need to first of all just be blunt, like we need to suck it up. That any type of reaction to oppression is 100% valid, and that the emotional labor that you go through and that Zara goes through in this space and in these conversations, we as white people, we need to front that emotional labor. We need to again suck it up actually accelerate the way that we are understanding it. And I know that just the slowness of it all is still perpetuating harm. And I want to I also want to acknowledge Mercury saying that there's basically nowhere where like LGBTQ plus people are truly accepted, but yeah, I want to center that experience. I want to build off of that experience and understand how I can trying to understand how I can minimize the amount of emotional labor and harm that you experience through decentering myself, through actually like having tangible support. I hope that that my words and my thoughts are that I'm actually voicing what my thoughts are coherently. But yeah, and I'm sorry, and I'm so sorry for the harm that you've experienced just worldwide, because that is something that all white people contribute to, and we have to do the work to minimize the harm and abolish that system that dehumanizes you and other Black and Indigenous trans people.
Pax, what would you like to say to Catalyst?
Catalyst, first off, thank you for taking the time out of your day to come up and join onto this panel to do the emotional labor on this panel. Thank you for sharing your story and helping us to humanize people. I really value your experience and your words, and I just want to express my gratitude for you coming up and my sorrow that this even has to be a conversation. And I'm sorry that you are dehumanized in the violence that you must see every day. And I promise that I will work very hard to stop that every day. If not in your case, but in general.
Okay. And I just want everyone to know that after everyone's done, I'm gonna check it with Catalyst and see what she has to say. But I definitely got some notes. Nikki, are you racialized white?
Yeah, I'm 43 white, she, they.
Okay. What would you say to Catalyst?
I would say the catalyst that me as a white person, I'm still trying to deconstruct my the way that I interact with certain people of another race and of another marginalized community. It's been Trunkel can probably say this too, adhere to this, that it's been a long road for me to be able to deconstruct.
I'm gonna stop this. I'm gonna stop
Okay.
this. That's not centering Catalyst. Normally we don't interrupt as per the rules, but that is becoming actively harmful because it is very much centering yourself. So I'm gonna ask you to attempt to speak to the racial terror that she lives through every single day for the entirety of her life, including by white trans people, and try one more time, because we have her consent, to use her human, horrifically grim, sorrowful expression of life as a learning platform for you. You're going to try again in a way that is expressing how hard it is to not be racist towards us.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. Yeah, and I actually feel sorry for people, especially in like other countries that are marginalized, especially like people like Catalyst, especially BIPOC people in general, on how they're marginalized, and I feel sorry for the struggles that they have to go through based upon of how white people like interact with them.
Okay, we'll leave it there for now. All right. Catalyst, how was that for you? Did that give you anything at all outside of more trouble and grief?
um, hmm. I'm just feeling into myself. And as this process started, with everyone sharing to me, and personally for me, this felt new, and it feels like a moment that is necessary both ways. I believe it's necessary for me and my healing to hear this and to witness this and to be part of a moment where I have a moment like this. But of course, I can't deny and see also how changing and shifting it must be to also bring this moment to me, to a person of color, to a trans woman of color. And I was just thinking the whole time that there are so few conversations where this moment of grace, where we really acknowledge and recognize the dignity, the integrity, but also, actively stand for the harm that we ourselves perpetuate towards others. And so it is a start, right? Um, and the weirdest thing, and I'm going to be more vulnerable too, is the weirdest thing is that because I do not have moments where white people would say these things to me in real time because they're uncomfortable. And so they never raise the issue. They just they're there and claim their allyship, and they're there being there for me and for other Black trans individuals and so forth, but we don't get into it. And so what real reconciliation actually looks like and what real growth looks like is to settle into the discomfort and feel it and feel what it means for you to say these words to a trans woman of color, for example, what is stirred in you in that moment also. And of course, this is a beautiful start. I feel so grateful that I popped in here. But work needs to be done, Zara.
Yes. It's horrifying that you have lived 46 years of this. That this is a room of white people who are not even invested in a particular situation. Like you said, it's not even in a moment that's actually happening in your life. And they still cannot humanize you. That there is not even a point of contention. That is to say, you're addressing something and they're having a response to it. This is literally just trying to emphasize that a stranger has gone through 46 years of racial supremacist terrorism, including by those that are white and trans, and that our trans cohorts who are not Black or Indigenous can't even meet you there, where the situation couldn't be any safer for them, couldn't be any less asking of anything from them, and they can't even verbalize a humanity for you. And what is even sadder is that even this meek tepid and still kind of insulting, really, response from them. Still, because of the violence is so horrific, so consistent, so unrelenting in your life, that even this tepid, inadequate response is enough to give you some genuine moment and sense of relief. And then when you get that little drop, that little not good
Mhm.
drop of water to give you anything that humanizes you, you still are in a position to try to show grace and talk about starts. You are 46 years old. We have discussed these topics for generations before you and I were ever alive. Why is it that we need to celebrate a beautiful start when you've been suffering this bullshit for 46 years? How is it that you can be on a planet that is so racially violent and terroristic that even when you try to address the segregation online, that is, to come into these spaces by people you would never meet in physical space because of the racial segregation between colonization, the global West, and areas that are colonies, the global South, etc. And the segregation is so bad that even when we meet online, they still can't humanize you. That is,
Mhm.
it's morbid. It's, if there was a word beyond morbid, beyond bleak, beyond existential despair, that is the word I would be using. That's what I saw happen to you right now, and I'm very sorry. What do you think, sweetie?
I yeah, I'm so with you, Sarah. Um, yeah, it's like almost picking up morsels of reaching out and in a void of these morsels being given, like anything wet is appreciated on desert land kind of thing. And so um I'm just there's right now what comes up for me is what huge the block and the barricade is, how huge the block and barricade is between the experience of or the internal reality of a white person and a person of color, and something that makes that humanizing either not permissible or not possible even. And that it not breaks my heart only, it just my mind it boggles the mind rather. And so if we could go on about talking about we've been at this for a while and for decades and so on. I think as countries go, we grow with integration, inclusion, and humanizing of each other in different ways. But what other way is it then in the moment to really settle and saturate the humanity of everyone with each other? But also, I feel what you're doing, Zara, is to also not just expect, but demand a real embodied kind of connection and reaching out in the humanizing of us.
Catalyst, may I use your um, oh, sorry, Mercury. Also, if anyone can help Mercury, please help Mercury. Thank you. Again, all of us Black trans people need help. this entire system is inherently extractive and genocidal against Black people. So all of us are suffering and being genocided and extracted from. But Ketos, may I use what you shared right now as another teaching moment?
Sure.
Thank you for, and you feel safe. You feel safe to say no?
I feel safe to say no.
Okay.
I'm good.
Okay. All right. My white cohorts, my non-Black, non-Indigenous cohorts. There's a very important thing that happened in that response that she did. When you all responded the way you did, notice how she went back to fawning still. You're trying to humanize her, failed. And she's still fawned. Even when she is trying to take what little she can from the drops of that inadequate attempt to humanize her, meaning you reinforce dehumanizing, she still tried to take what the little drop was and try to maximize the water yield so that she could put it in her heart and then still say thank you for you to do that. But when I identified her feelings, including the violence and inadequacy to actually humanize, woeful inadequacy to humanize her, what did she do? She sighed in relief and a real genuine emotion. She didn't go into fawning to respond to me. And she actually agreed with my assessments and how each of you did not give anything to her that actually recognized and humanized the 46 years of racial terrorism that she has lived under by people who look like you, and you all perpetuate it yourselves in the spaces that you inhabit. She sighed in genuine relief for a moment that actually saw her based on what I'm internalizing her response to be. And still, she, in her fawning for the little that you tried, she tried to celebrate you. She tried to go the beginning, the start. And then when I actually identified more of her humanity, she could actually start talking more about what she actually felt. But did any of you catch that? I'm guessing not. You all need to see you're fucking colonizers. Being here on this live does not give you brownie points. You are still fucking colonizers with a deeply, violently genocidal programming that you are no further away from than wherever you believed you are. This woman could only sigh in any relief because I had to do that labor to speak to her. And it doesn't even have to be because of me in any individual way. It's because I actually could do something emotionally, tangibly useful. The colonization programming that you have is so pervasive in your psyche that you cannot even humanize a stranger when you have no investment, no source of interpersonal conflict, no conflict of financial interest in an immediate sense, that is. Of course, we have a financial conflict between the colonizing and the colonizer and the colonized, but that's a meta relationship, a macro relationship. And still, you couldn't do it. And still, she was fawning. I want to hear, after Ren and Joker speak as they need to speak, and I'm saying this now because I'm saying it from my own memory as well. I want to hear each of the people that are white here comment on how much that what they have seen, I hope, shows how much of the colonizer mindset that is a near perfect overlap of your psyche still. But Ren and Joker, hi, did you have anything to say?
Great to see you. Really appreciate all the work you're doing. And I just want if I can, to take a second to just appreciate you because
Oh,
you deserve it. But yeah, Joker, if you're able to to start. If not, then okay. So since I have the floor now, what I would like to do is I would actually really like to redirect the conversation back to you and to follow up with the white people because, from my opinion, what me and Joker came up to talk about would flow in naturally right after.
okay. So I'm going to give a turn order as well. Starting, I want Kay, then I want Nikki, then Sam, and then Pax. I want you all to comment on the colonizer conduct that you still clearly have when interacting with the colonized, based on the interaction we just had with Catalyst. Okay?
There's definitely I can just the dynamic between the conversation, the first conversation between me, the other white people in Catalyst, and just and her response with stemming from racial trauma, taking even saying that this is a start, that inherently is a way that I and the other white people in the panel are upholding the exact genocidal, terroristic, the reality that she's had to experience her entire life. That me and the other white people on the panel failed to tune into and acknowledge that 46 years of lived experience, that trauma under the same harm that we're perpetuating right now. And how I noticed that even in that I failed to do this, and other white people failed to do this, is explain exactly how we were going to deconstruct those systems, abolish those systems, what we're actually going to do to tangibly help and support. But yeah, I'm sorry, my mind is going blank. You can speak.
Sam, since Nikki's not here.
It has me thinking we're not human. It has me feeling so disappointed, and I'm sorry that I couldn't even acknowledge and humanize you correctly in a span of a second. Uh, I'm sorry that I can't find the words to do it. I'm sitting with myself looking at it, and I'm trying. This is absolutely abhorrent. It's been hiding in me, uh, in plain sight. Um, and so I think the question is, how do I feel about, I think it's how I feel about how the, the colonization is eclipsed in my psyche. Uh, where do I start? Literally, where do I start? Let's start. Okay, this wire, listening to everything that is being said. Uh, Catalyst, I am so deeply sorry. I'm so deeply sorry that I still can't figure it out. And my brain is doing all sorts of gymnastics right now. It's insane. It's absolutely insane. And I'm so sorry that we only, the morsels that you're talking about, our brains are complex. We can figure this out, what is stopping us.
So I'm going to interrupt you there and let you think on that and ponder that. But also, let's try not to use the word insane or other words that imply a mental unwellness and evil in correlation. Excuse me. But yeah, you need to sit with that. Someone mentioned bring up the circles. Like I know like the image of like the potions of white supremacy. Also, we're from Canada, so we don't have to do TikTok shop. How do I guess I would like download an image and then go to it. Like I don't know how to do images and stuff, right? Like I know like if I'm hosting the host, like I can put up like the image, but I don't know TikTok stuff, so I don't even know how to put the circles or the potions of white supremacy or whatever to show that graph you're talking about. I don't have it accessible. I have it in my memory, but I don't have a like the potions picture I'm remembering. I don't have that on my phone or anything. Um, anyways, so let's go to Pax. Pax, how do you want to comment on um, the disparity in responses between how she went still into racial terrorist fueled fearful fawning for trying to applaud the work you did versus the genuine sighing of relief when I did the emotional labor that actually humanized her?
The seeing, the highlighting the fawning between when Catalyst is addressing the white people up here in regards to the sharing and the community, and the way that she speaks really, it really was a real-time demonstration of the difference in the way that black queer trans folks speak to white queer trans folks, when the majority of us white queer trans folks think that we're all on the same level, and that was painfully obvious that we are not. It made me very sick to my stomach, and it hurt my heart, Catalyst, to witness you dehumanized so much, and to have played a part in that. And I am truly sorry.
Ren, Joker, did you want to say anything? Otherwise, I can keep going. I just want to make a pause. Or Catalyst, of course, excuse me. Did either of three of you want to say anything?
Good. I think we can move.
Okay. I'm sorry if this was very painful, Catalyst. I appreciate you consenting for it being a teaching moment, and I'm sorry that you are reaffirmed in the survival strategies that you have had to forcibly put into your psyche to survive for 46 years. Joker and Ren, did you want to say anything? And also, if you can do intros, that would be helpful still.
I'll do my intro really quick. Hey, we're Ren, pronouns they, them, Black deity system in our 30s. And I will give Joker space to do their intro if they can. But in the
If
meantime,
they can.
Catalyst, I want to say to you personally, I really appreciate you sharing all of your wisdom and taking the time to step into the space, to be vulnerable. You never know if you're going to get attacked or what you're going to receive. And you took your time to share your wisdom with us, and I really appreciate you. But yeah, Joker, you think you're going to be able to get your intro in?
Yeah, sorry, yeah, f- um,
Take your time, sweetie, and you don't have to. You're welcome to also alternate between writing and speaking as you want and need. But pauses are okay too.
I'll help a little bit. Joker's pronouns are they, them, they're in their 40s, and they're white as far as their intro goes. And
Okay.
what,
Thank you.
mhm. And Joker really wanted to speak about the steps of action and things that we can do as far as moving forward. And we can do, I say that to mean what y'all white trans people working together with each other can do. Um, so that's kind of where Joker was heading, because that part of the conversation is also necessary. But at the minute, I do think there's other things we still need to discuss. So I just wanted to give you that context, Zara. And I'm just here to help accommodate the disabilities. That's my only role right now.
Okay. Okay. I will just trust that you'll do a hand gesture when, if and when you wish to speak. Otherwise, I won't ask you questions directly or anything. So hold on. Is there a way we can keep a hold on that? But I was going to before we get into that, I actually wanted to go and see who did their homework and talk about that homework. Is that okay, Mercury? But if you feel like
Yeah.
we need to do it now, we can do that now.
Yeah, no, of
Right, because
course.
I'm not right. I'm a hostess, but I'm not the leader, right? Especially if we're dealing with like elements of colorism, futurism, stuff like that.
Mhm.
Okay, so who was here last time as well, right? It's obviously the people who are new or whatever. I'm not expecting them, but of those who was here last time, who did their homework that I had assigned?
I did.
Okay, so we're gonna go straight from catalysts in this experience that yikes. And we're going to go into the homework to reinforce statistically what the hell just happened. Pax, I would like you to go first. Share your homework research results and your response to what you picked as the 3 surprising facts of racial bias.
Okay, so the first one I have here is the epidemic of violence report. That there's fatal violence against transgender and gender non-conforming people continues, with Black trans women compromising of nearly half of the deaths, and that was in November 2024. I can only imagine that that has gone up. That was my first one, and that was at the Human Rights Campaign Foundation, because you asked for the sources as well. The second one I have is from PubMed. Does stress from incarceration of family and friends contribute to signs of early vascular aging in African American women? That the early vascular aging, EVA, contributes to elevated risk of cardiovascular disease, which disproportionately affects African American women. Incarceration, an event disproportionately impacting African Americans, may be a stressor contributing to EVA in African American women. Further, the subjective perspective, commonly referred to as risk. Then I also have from the BBC that Black women are 5 times more likely to die in pregnancy, birth, or postpartum than white women. So those were the 3 things that I found very surprising.
Can I just add something here?
Sure.
Just because I also am trained to work as like a birth worker, I wanted to add that in metropolitan areas such as like New York, it can even get up to 20 times the rate. So Black women or Black birthing people in general are 20 times more likely to unalive during birth than with their white counterparts.
The it's not surprising to me. It's absolutely disgusting to me that that happens. I am absolutely horrified that Black people are losing their lives statistically far greater than their white counterparts. I also, while I was doing my research, something that personally I was upset about was that there isn't as much information in Canada regarding the disparity between Black folk and white folk and their treatment in the medical community. That I was surprised at and disappointed in the government because we know that there is an issue, and then people are saying that there's an issue. The government should be looking into it and should be supporting Black people in Canada. So I was also very much appalled that there isn't the information, and I did look for it. Go ahead, Sarah.
All right, Pax, you did it again. What do you think I'm about to point out? It was in response to the statistic Mercury shared.
I didn't humanize it, and I didn't spend enough time on my disgust on that.
But there's also something else. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Again, there's a romanticization and avoidance of clearly stating what's happening. It's not that just Black people are losing their lives. They're being actively murdered by weaponized racial withdrawal of services, empathy, care, or competency. That is to say, weaponized race-based incompetency to ensure Black people die. That there are people the white people in the medical field are actively choosing to avoid humanizing their Black patients, ensuring we're much more likely to die. And you did not identify, that means that in every element that is critical, central, or just archetypally very deeply ingrained within the human condition of what it means to be alive or living,
Mhm.
that white people murder black people in those situations. You did not say that. You continue to obfuscate, to avoid detailing white people murdering us. They're murdering us in the hospital. They're murdering
Yes.
us when giving birth. The choice to not provide best care is a choice. And not providing best care results in death, then you murdered people. White people are continuously choosing to murder black people.
Mm.
It's not that they had a fatal incident at the hospital. It is that the medical care team, quote unquote,
Mhm.
did not care to humanize this person to the point of actual death. Now, with that in mind, what would you say to Mercury?
I am sorry that doctors are murdering black people. I am sorry they don't see the humanity and choose to murder you. Like, um, I'm having. I am sorry that there is an active G side to the black community, and that people are actively doing this, and that people aren't actively stopping them. I yeah, I think it's an active Holocaust against black folk that white folk and white doctors are choosing to actively murder black folk, and especially the next generation coming in, so that there would be more people that look like me on the planet, and that's horrifying.
Sam and Kay, I'm going to give you a little attempt here to do something. We have someone asking, I don't disagree, but how are we to point out the discrepancy? I'm going to ask you two to attempt to answer this in the chat box. From Serial Bus. Serial Bus, I believe is the name. But I'll leave that to you two. Mercury, did you get anything from that emotionally from PAX? Don't go easy on them just because they're my co-host. The whole point of them being here is to show open learning.
I'm gonna be honest, and it has nothing to do with you individually, Pax.
I've got a flag,
Oh wow,
just so you know.
I see. Um, yeah, it has nothing to do with you individually, what I'm about to say, but like I am just, especially how, just the descent into what we are living in right now. I definitely think I'm dissociated a bit in order to cope. Um, so yeah, it's kind of like I don't feel anything about it, but it has nothing to do with PAX individually. I also wanted to point out, kind of explain what I'm trying to say in the comments about what I think, especially as somebody that's like partially trained. I mean, I'm not going to say I know everything, but partially trained Black birth worker. I think it's definitely more active than neglect. Um, People often are able to give birth by themselves without too many complications. And that I think that in the hospital and the way that the birthing environment is set up in the hospital is actively designed that way to kill people. Giving birth, birthing positions, there are so many. Giving birth on your back makes no sense. Is dangerous. Not eating or drinking, which they will have you do in the hospital, is dangerous for labor, especially when some people are in labor for days. Um, Sorry, what did Suri had added? Yeah, and automatically preparing for a C-section, inducing people with pitocin can be very dangerous, and they literally only do that because the gynecologists in the labor units at the hospitals get paid per like bed they flip. So they're trying to get people in and out of there as soon as possible, which is why they're going to induce you and recommend a C-section, etc., when the conditions don't necessarily call for that. So that's what I mean when I say I really think it's way more active than neglect. It's not like that. A lot of the conditions wouldn't be so if they weren't in the hospital.
It's interesting that as Black people, any element of us existing has no inherent sacredness in society. And in fact, even in our most vulnerable, we are treated as inconvenience to be eradicated, or there is the enjoyment of being able to brutalize us and reinforce the delight of the racial caste system when we are our most vulnerable.
I just want to like illustrate what I'm trying to explain in the comments. I'm sorry to if this is derailing. But
Did you need me to explain what I meant, Mercury?
I mean, sure, yeah.
So I mean, when I say neglect, I'm speaking of intentional neglect, which is the deliberate and knowing failure to fulfill caretaking duties or provide basic necessities. Examples like withholding food, water, necessary medications, deliberately ignoring somebody's medical needs. That would be what I would be referring to in regards to the neglect of Black women and Black people in the hospitals. That's why I said
Yeah.
willful neglect in
I
my
mean,
original.
I understand that to a certain extent, but what like I'm trying to illustrate is that birth isn't inherently like that dangerous or really dangerous at all. It is made dangerous by the conditions. So it's not I don't view it as neglect. It's an active construct of those effects of those things happening.
Okay.
Since it is a conversation between two Black people, I will let you resolve it as you see fit for now, even if that means just a quiet agree to disagree.
Yeah, I think we just have different terminology that we're using. I don't think either of us are right or wrong. I think it's just different terminology. Yeah. No, I totally respect your perspective, Mercury, especially as a Black healthcare worker. So
Sam, did you respond to the person I asked you to respond? I saw Kay's response.
Yes, but I am not confident in my response. partially because I just don't understand directions or questions. Not really good at school. Um, but
It was just responding to the person's question,
right, no,
right?
I hear you. I'm not trying to. How do we point out the discrepancy? Like point out like it's murder. Uh, it's like pointed out that it's murder. Like, is that the question? Like,
I don't have a set answer for you. The
right,
the, the homework assignment is just for you to try, right? To try to make an answer and go from there, right?
right,
The effort is I'm not supposed to hold your hand.
right.
It's for you to take the risk, except it's not a risk,
Yeah.
but
Well,
you
I
may
wrote
feel within whiteness the risk to answer. But go ahead.
sure. I wrote point out the inconsistency or the discrepancy by calling it murder instead of I don't know what else they're calling it, accidents uh, or whatever they're calling it now is wrong. So we point it out by calling it murder instead of a anything else that's passive. I I believe that's what the question is. So that would be my answer to what I'm perceiving the question is.
Okay, we'll leave it for now.
Sure.
We're gonna move on. Kay, what were your homework answers? The three statistics. Hold on, actually. Pax, did we ever get your emotional response to the three statistics? Was that when you said you tried to even look it up for Canada and you were deeply disturbed that you couldn't find it? Was that your emotional answer to the three statistics?
It's not my complete emotional answer. My
Oh,
complete emotional answer is I'm not surprised. I was surprised that we didn't get any. I couldn't find a whole lot of Canadian answers. I'm disgusted. Emotionally, it made me ill, and ashamed.
hmm.
Yeah, to add on to what I was feeling, but yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Pax. Kay, what were your three most surprising facts about anti-Black racial bias you found, and what was your emotional and thinking response to those three facts?
The first one is actually in relation to the specific, like the last statistic that that Pax noted, the Black maternal mortality rate, but my statistic was actually the the Black and Indigenous infant mortality rate. And specifically, I wrote everything down. The infant mortality rate for Black infants dying before their first birthday is at twice the rate compared to white infants, with similar rates experienced by Indigenous children, as well as the Office of Minority Health states that as of 2023. So I tried to get as close in date as possible. Indigenous infants experience a mortality rate that is 64 times higher than infants nationwide. The racial bias in the health crisis that we as white people created, the genocide that is actively killing the healthcare system that we set up is actively killing Black mothers, Black fathers, and their children before they can even grow to 1 years old. And just sitting with how devastating that is. That this healthcare system, as just white supremacy as a system, it's just the healthcare system. It isn't broken. We made it this way. That we made it this way specifically. There was also the CDC states that Black patients have the highest death rate for cancer overall, and being more likely than white patients to be diagnosed with breast, lung, and colorectal cancer at a late stage, with a 5-year lower survival rate And also that the Office of Minority Health also states that as of 2023, Indigenous men experience a rate of 94%, and Indigenous women 90% more likely to die from stomach cancer than the U.S. population overall, and that Indigenous men are 46% more likely to be diagnosed with kidney cancer than men nationwide. Indigenous women are 2.5 times more likely to be diagnosed with liver and bile duct cancer than women nationwide. Yet Indigenous patients are less likely than white patients to be up to date on cancer screenings, according to the IHS 2021 Government Performance and Results Act report. That, and also just bringing into account the social determinants of why there is an increased amount of cancer in these communities, and that the racial bias that in the harm that we perpetuate in this healthcare system by not having any representation in how to diagnose or like not actually having representation or making it a priority to have more representation and knowledge of how to diagnose any kind of disease, illness in Black and Indigenous people, that the racial bias that comes with misdiagnosing and not even diagnosing, that it comes directly from that dehumanization, not taking the pain, the discomfort, the harm that Black and Indigenous people face, that is leading to genuine cancer. And we have these statistics, we know this, yet we're still not prioritizing the treatment, the screenings to prevent the misdiagnosis, to prevent not diagnosing. And also just going back to how this is not incidental, that this is active, this is I'm trying to find the word. This is purposeful. This is purposeful. And also as I said, that like the social determinants, just like with either environmental factors and with increased carcinogens in intake because of residential segregation, because of redistricting, redlining, and everything, and all of that. But I also, let me scroll up. I also did find some statistics on how racial bias affects Black and Indigenous students in education. Oh, yes.
So remember, it's only supposed to be 3 statistics.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sorry. I think I overthought it. I have OCD, so I think I way overthought it. I'm sorry. So I said everything? Okay, thank you.
So, one moment though. Who is Serial Bus? Is this? I'm assuming. You seem not Black and Indigenous. Are you trans? Are you trans, Serial Bus? Are you trans or are you not trans? Because right now we're having to have 2 Black people do intense, maybe? Like, are you gender questioning? Is that what you're saying? I can't tell if you're being obtuse or you literally are just like trying to understand yourself. Are you saying you're like gender questioning? Or are you being a troll right now? Because right now we're having, well, no. You're not just listening. You're actively causing two black people to have to continue to do emotional labor as we're talking over and over in a very violent colonial conversation about how these white people on this panel can't not even do the basic acts of humanizing them. So no, you're not just listening. You're actually actively causing harm while trying to, parade yourself as I'm going to do something. I'm going to try. I'm just listening. No, you're not. You're actively being harmful. Oh, sure. Celeste, I'm sorry you're getting to your limit.
Hi everybody. I just wanted to come up. Pax, I talked to you a bit earlier about this, but just kind of wanted to come up in a space. I know I have the ability to like kind of just say a few things. They're not all related, but I just do want to get this out. Bear with me because I am kind of emotionally drained today. A lot of you guys don't know me. My name is Celeste. I'm trans, non-binary. I'm also ADHD, so autism, ADHD, and a DID system as well. And I am living in an area that is not very safe at all for any of those things. Deep South, specifically Alabama. And kind of in the topic of like what white people can be doing for Black people and people of color, specifically in the LGBT community. I have just noticed a lot of people in the community. Pax is probably aware of a lot of this. People supposedly, supportive and in the community, have kind of completely flipped their behavior towards Black and brown people, specifically people I have been friends with or have known on this app since like years. This has been years. And outright harassment and bullying of people that they've been friends with for years. And I guess with the like harassment and the threats increasing, it is scary to be in any space at this point. Very terrifying because the closer you get to anybody, the more there is that fear that they're going to turn something against you, that they're going to harm you. And if you are already in a space where you're not accepted, that could put you in a very dark place. And it just gets extremely frustrating to see people at the slightest sign of conflict, specifically white people, at the slightest bit of conflict or trouble, kind of give up and walk away when Black and brown people don't get that opportunity. We can't just put our phones down. We can't just walk away from the harm. And I guess that frustrated me in the comments to see, oh, there's nothing more I can do, when I'm gonna be honest, you guys aren't even doing enough as it is.
On it. Heavy on it.
I'm exhausted. I'm exhausted seeing my friends being called horrible slurs. I'm exhausted seeing another news headline that another black woman has been hung from a tree. I'm tired of seeing another trans person being bullied to the point that they kill themselves and their year of birth is not even 20 years ago. And you guys say that voting is the best you can do. So yeah, I guess I just wanted to get that out because I'm tired of the excuses. If you guys care about this community, please listen to these lives. Please actually go and do the work and stop putting your whiteness over your humanity. Because if you want to see these faces again, then you're gonna have to shape up and do something more. Thank you, Pax. Thank you, Zara. I'm gonna drop.
Thank you, sweetie.
Thank you, Celeste.
Mercury.
Thank you, Celeste.
And this is just kind of like a vent to add on to what Celeste was saying. Like, I more than I am frightened by the conditions of how far we've descended. I am very, 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 very alarmed of like the fact that nobody else is alarmed. Like, it feels like the Truman Show. It feels like I'm in a simulation because like the other night I was looking up, well, not even really needing to look up, it's all over my timeline. The ICE center that is right outside New York, in New Jersey, Delaney Hall, and how I think it's 300 people are on a hunger strike right now, trying to draw attention to the conditions, because these are concentration camps in the United States. This is where we are at. In the age of disclosure, people, like how everybody always says, like people are one paycheck away from like being destitute. People are destitute. Everybody is rubbing their last 2 cents together. We are there. And I guess I just wanted to say that in a group of other people because it feels like nobody is acknowledging like how actually bad it is. And on that note, like everyone, or really the Democrats, when I say everybody, and liberals, perpetuating like the notion that the United States is being controlled by the ethno state in the Middle East. When it's the other way around, we are the bad guys. And I want everybody to know that, like, the systems here, they're described too often in a passive way. They are actively genociding people. And yeah, that's kind of it.
Thank you, Mercury. It's why I'm trying to host these lives when I'm in the situation I'm in because it's that bad. And you're right, Mercury. Those that are not in our position are not responding accordingly. It's almost as if they really enjoy slavery and ethnic cleansing. They really don't seem opposed so far. So I want them to know that they're not actually opposed to slavery and ethnic cleansing, if they're going to sit and do nothing and self-pity and cry and stuff. But hopefully they'll be more useful and moralistic as beings than that.
And I'm not even a statist. I'm actually very anti-statist. But I just want to like remind people that in the wake of World War II, the German citizens that just went along with the status quo and just claimed neutrality and that they were just doing what everybody else was doing. They were just doing their jobs. Those people were also held accountable, to say the least. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, morbidly, I don't even know if such a thing would even happen this time, because who's going to be the power that would hold them accountable for those trials in the first place? And then we look at how much Germany was actually renazified, really. Despite it being called a denazification period, it really wasn't. Yeah, yeah, it's a bitter, bitter time. But thank you, Mercury.
May I have some space to speak really quick?
Of course.
Appreciate that. So as I said, I came up here to help accommodate Joker and their disabilities. They did leave the panel because they were putting their focus in the right spot. But one of the things I do want to help communicate for them is they really want white people, the people who are here, to help Mercury right now. Mercury is in need. And this is what I'm saying. I'm adding this part on. There's no coins up in that corner besides the coins that I put there myself. Mercury's asking for help. Y'all talk about wanting to help somebody. Someone just right here in front of your face, right now on this panel, asking for help. And no one has helped it. No one's even put one single coin besides after I said something, besides me. Another black person, a trans person who's struggling. And this is the kind of stuff that is so difficult for us because y'all talk all this talk, but when the opportunity is right in front of you, you don't act.
Sorry, Ren, I didn't mean to cut you off, and thank you very much for that. Because honestly, I had forgot in the conversation we were having. To all the white people here, like this is me, like genuinely asking, because my friends that are black that have big platforms have tried to circulate my graphic for my direct aid, and it hasn't really gone anywhere. And I am like beyond fucked when it comes to financials right now. I've after being laid off on Juneteenth, actually last year, I've been unemployed since then, looking for living wage. So if anybody has like literally anybody in your life that you could send it to, or your network, you know, you never know who has a few dollars. It would greatly help me. And I can send you the graphic if you can help me circulate it.
Thank you for bringing it back up, Ren. Thank you, Mercury, for being vulnerable to talk about it.
Yes. And I appreciate y'all having this space so that way these conversations can be had and we can see and point out how freaking useless it is to just sit around and talk. How y'all want to feel great about yourselves and to come and sit here and be uncomfortable and talk about how much and how important it is to be in this discomfort when your opportunities for action are being wasted every day. You have opportunities to take action and you just waste them. But you want to sit and talk about, oh, yeah, it's so important to be in discomfort. Like, you need to do more than that, honestly. But yeah. So since I was mostly up here just to advocate or just to accommodate anyways, I am going to drop. I really want to thank you, Zara, and to thank you, Mercury, and to also thank you, Celeste. We deeply really appreciate y'all because we need it. We need way more than what we got. So.
Good job, Sam. Thank you, Ren. Sorry, this is so much emotional labor. My brain is actually starting to go numb. Because it's infuriating how and draining how low of capacity my non-black trans peers are. Um, we are returning to old Jim Crow. We have concentration camps. We are being and have been actively murdered by the medical system. We're being lynched, have been, and continue to be lynched. And we're still at the point of talking about how do you emotionally recognize someone. Yes, the registries and lists as well. And we're still at the point of trying to make someone not feel worse when they share how they feel bad.
Did you see
Um,
the news about Kentucky?
I mean, I know not specifically Kentucky, but I know like lists. It's getting hard to track all of it, but I'll look it up
Yeah,
later, or if you can send it to
naturally.
me.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, Kentucky is officially the first state to like pass through legislature enacting a transgender registry. Um, and that is such a dangerous precedent that has been set. And like, I know the trans clinic that I go to has put like all of us like on notice that they will let us know as soon as possible if uh, they are subpoenaed for that type of information. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Sorry, Ren, you're being a lot more vigilant. So, as I expressed, but Ren is doing a far better job individually. We're all in need. We are all being extracted from, lynched, set up to die. So you need to be provoking all the non-Black and Indigenous people around you to, if they have any actual moral consistency and they actually don't love slavery and racial cleansing, and not the ones that claim it, the ones that actually prove it, you need to push them to see if they actually are not pro-slavery and pro-racial cleansing. Um, we as Black trans people are collectively all in a deeply terrible, vulnerable, genocidal position. Um, and all of us individually need help. Sorry, Ren. I do apologize. I'm losing brain concentration. So again, thank you, Ren. If you have any respect for me, supposedly at least, you would be following Ren as well and giving acknowledgement to their capacities, their contributions to society. As Mercury said earlier in this live, there's not a single, almost or isn't a single Black leftist they know that isn't educating. And we're having to do that because the rest of you are very much so far okay with slavery and racial cleansing. So, ethnic racial cleansing. So, which is why we're literally in positions of having to beg strangers with money and then still do this work. Because again, the slavery and the racial cleansing, racial ethnic cleansing. So, yeah, I hope you will push your peers to be moralistic and see if they actually are. So please also follow Ren. Thank you. Sam, you also did the homework. What are your 3 statistics? And succinctly, what is your emotional response to them?
The 3 statistics that I found regarded suicide. Um, Black or African American children under 13 die by suicide twice as likely as white children. I can see my sources at the end. Uh,
Mhm.
between let's see, between 1991 and 2017, suicide rates rose 73%, and I have a big emotional response to that. Let's see. Of African American adolescents, injury rose 12%. Suicide deaths increased more than 45% between 2012 and 2019. And that's, well, that's kind of like two statistics. And then the last one I have, I'll say, in 2019, out of a group, 32% reported feeling sad or hopeless. I'm pretty sure this is adults, or I know it's adults. 17% severely considered suicide. 15% made plans. 12% made attempts, and 3% had severe injury and had to be hospitalized. So that's pretty much three. What I took from that is um, in between 2010 and 2020, I asked a couple people this question out and about. I asked them um, between the last decade, 2010, 2020, do you think we were the most racially sensitive, or do you think racism was at its least, you know, horrible path it's on? And everyone said, well, yeah, I mean, things have been getting better in this and that. And I I had the same thought too. So why are suicide rates climbing? So what that means is between 91 and 2017. So the whole time I've been alive, well, I'm 96, but it's just progressively getting worse. And we all thought, in high school and when I tried college, uh, we all thought that it's getting better. But it's almost as if the right to live is racially biased because Black people are killing themselves before they reach adulthood at climbing rates over 50%, which shows that the performativeness and the forced cognitive dissonance put us in a psychosis. Uh, I experienced psychosis, so I don't know if that's important. Um, and we live inside this psychosis bubble because it's not reality. Reality is the violence and the weaponization of our white fragility. I'm learning all these words. Um, uh, is absolutely stark. It hit me right in the chest when I and no one has ever asked, like no one has ever checked in. Are Black people okay? Are Black children okay? We all just thought everything's getting better. We didn't even check. Um, Severe disappointment and shame. Uh, I don't know if this is appropriate to say, but my family is like OG. Oh wait, no, Sam. Oh my God, damn it. That was train of thought. Uh, wow. I shouldn't even say that. Never mind. We'll try that again later. Um, Sorry. Uh, just, just basically, essentially, we all thought things were getting better, and it was getting worse, way more drastically than I previously thought. Is kind of what I took from those. Um, and yeah, it kills me.
Um, well, it saddens you, but it's not killing you. It's actually killing us. But go ahead and read the comments people are asking and commenting of you, please. While you're doing that, Kay, I would like to hear what you have thought and felt from this whole conversation we just had, from Celeste sharing their feelings, Mercury sharing their own, Ren sharing their own, Ren then having to focus on Mercury, then Ren having to bring focus on themselves, the answers that Pax, You don't have to literally talk about all these individually. I'm trying to get a collective sweeping answer. Then the answer, homework answers, my co-host brought and Sam brought, and you brought. When you look back at the significant amount of time that's just passed between the last time you really spoke, what do you see and think?
I think that it is, again, and I keep using the word prime example, like this is genuinely from Mercury and Ren talking about how we as white people were in this live, and we're saying we're deconstructing, but during that whole conversation, during the whole thing, it was Black people supporting each other the whole time, and just highlighting the performative activism, that behavior that is inherent to our whiteness, to the way that we communicate. That even while we're here saying that we care and we want to combat this, that the amount of times that Mercury and Ren were being ignored by the white people in this live, and advocating and having to scream at us that, like, not obviously not like, like not like literally, but like
Emphasize.
have to emphasize and advocate for themselves, for themselves and like each other during the whole thing. It just shines like a real spotlight of how we as white people really need to focus on like genuine, tangible support, not just talk. And we can read statistics all day, but as you said, knowledge and wisdom are two different things. Knowledge and empathy are two different things. Like, humanizing, like, we need to put humanizing at the forefront, wisdom at the forefront, the wisdom of Black and Indigenous people, and instead of forcing Black and Indigenous people to do this work, this emotional labor throughout the suffering, the genocide that we are causing. It's just disgusting. We have to actually show up. I wrote I wrote down, I think it's your Mercury, your Cash App or Venmo. So I'm definitely going to gather some money and send you something and actually put action behind my words and actually like mean what I say. But that even what when Sam was talking about, white people just gaslighting everybody, and even the word better, like there's no type of better at the level of dehumanization that Black and Indigenous people are going through. The performative activism and the gaslighting and how that's like intertwined. I'm noticing how they work together and prop each other up. But I think that's a lot of what I notice in that we as white people, like, we need we need to do something. We need to actually do something. We can't, even in the other comment of someone being like, well, I can't do anything, I can just vote. No, you need to actually advocate. You actually have to get involved with, like, either civil rights groups, or even email, like, other than emailing like reps and senators, but also just, for example, my state right now is being sued for the mass amount of segregation that's going on. 60% of the schools in Massachusetts are highly segregated. It's one of the statistics that I wrote down. And that me just talking about it, me just reading the statistics, gaining knowledge on the statistic, it doesn't actually change it. I need to go to these schools. I need to actually confront the administration, confront the policies that are doing this, confront how I'm perpetuating harm in that. Like, there's no, and as Mercury said, there's no time to wait. There's no time to wait. It has to actually be tangible support instead of just words, instead of just performative activism, because that's like the whole white people with a performative oh, sorry, yes.
You don't have to apologize, but thank you very much for your answer. I just want to make sure Joker's able to speak while they're in the capacity to speak. Joker, what is it that you wanted to say, dear?
Yeah, we struggle to speak, and we are combating our perfectionism also right now. But I wanted to read a text about the network that I desperately will push people, white people, to build with me. Yeah, I'm gonna just... Okay, so I wrote that the other day. It suddenly hit me in my own whiteness, and I realized that I was looking outward for way to help without looking inward at the actual skills that I hold. I have hypersensitivity, imagination, and I didn't see those as organizing tools, but they are. They allow me to feel deeply, to process complex dynamics, and I will use these tools to hold spaces for fellow white people to help connect to the pain of the Black trans community, and especially through online group to imagine and feel, and imagine ways other than money. Like there's a network that I'm building right now, and to feel, to connect with the wisdom and the pain. Many of us want to help, but we often get stuck thinking the only way to contribute is money. And if we don't have money, there's nothing we can do. And use hypersensitivity and imagination that I have to help white people find their own unique ways and skills that go far beyond money. And when we can learn to, without shutting down, getting defensive, or hijacking the narrative with our own emotional processing. We need to do that work with each other. This is an invitation, but also it's more than an invitation, because us white people, we don't know how to organize. If it's just an invitation, nobody will do it. So I'm gonna do the individual thing of pushing in private about that. So just share videos is not enough. It doesn't create safety for the Black trans community. So that's what I can say for the moment.
Thank you very much, Joker. Okay, Ren, did you want to say anything or no before I continue?
I'm here supporting Joker again,
Okay.
and they did do the homework as well. And we have some of their notes about that. I don't know if we want to circle back around to it eventually, but just throwing that out
Oh,
there.
let's do it. Sure. Forgot. Thanks.
Apologies. I was expecting a break, so I was like, it threw me off a little
Oh,
bit.
oh, oh, okay. I mean, I can circle back to it. Yeah. Okay. You want to
I
break?
was actually hoping that we would be able to hear from the other white people about what Joker shared.
Go ahead. White people. Let's start with Pax because Pax hasn't talked in a while.
Sorry, I was just getting a drink. um. Okay, perfect. Yeah, I can send that out. Mercury. I as you are aware, am going through a lot right now. And so I'm having a very hard time verbalizing. And so if we could actually skip me for now, that would be awesome. Yeah.
I can.
Okay.
Well, yeah.
But I will be asking you later to respond to what Joker said, even if it is in direct messages later, and trust that Joker will get to me that you responded.
Yep.
Go ahead, Kay.
So respond to Joker or to you?
To Joker, because it's Joker who said it. And then Joker can pass the answer to me if they find the answer is suitable. And Ren as well.
Cool.
Go ahead, Kay.
Thank you. Oh, Joker's raising their hand.
Go ahead, Joker.
No, I just wanted to say very quick that if anyone here is like white and disabled and thinking that they don't have the skills, that's things that I want to work with as well. We all have skills. We all have ways to, because like capitalism makes us things we don't. So that's why we are not able to organize. We are not able to create, like to have empathy and things like that. So that's why I want to do that. That's on us white people to do. If we are disabled and we are bedridden, I want to do that without being ableist. I want to respect limitations, but there's certainly a way that we can do something, because I think that's, yeah, we all have a way to participate, even if it's by scrolling, by going on live and protect Black trans on a live somewhere. Like, I don't care. We all have a way we can help.
Thank you, Joker. Kay, oh, hello, Azrael, by the way. Kay, what is it that you wanted to say?
I think I definitely I want to focus on that specific part about how like sharing, reposting, liking, like while it is so important to push the message out there and
One moment, please. I'm very sorry. Please send some of the money to Ren as well. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Please resume, Kay.
Thank you. That of course it's important to amplify Black and Indigenous voices and push out the message, but it's like the lack of actual labor that goes into just sharing and reposting and liking, and it's not and Joker's 100% right. It's not tangible support. It's not tangible support. That's not actually actively protecting Black and Indigenous trans people, Black and Indigenous people just in general. It's not. It's still putting all of the work onto them. That we actually have to put action behind our words, and whether that's financial support, not everybody has that, whether that's using your own voice to post and amplify that and take on that emotional labor so Black and Indigenous people don't have to. Whether it's, and I think that when Joker talks about skills and trying to look inward and trying to find different pathways of being actually useful, I want to apply that to myself in my everyday. Sorry, I'm gathering my thoughts. In my everyday life, whether that's actually actively combating either administrations, senators, representatives, using your voice, putting just putting action behind the words, and also sorry, I'm gathering my thoughts.
Just a moment, please. Please someone confirm, and I won't make an assumption, but I'm still going to say this. Andi, if you're the Andi who I think you are, and you're associating with the racist that you have been, please fucking leave. The Black people here have already suffered enough harm today and are exhausted. If you're the Andi who I'm thinking of, please fucking leave. You're not welcome here.
Could I continue, or is there something going on?
It's a very terrible, toxic trans person who permits horrific violence against Black people and is okay with it. There's no point of trying to have a conversation with that person. There's nothing redemptive. Go ahead, Kay.
Okay, well, first I want to acknowledge the harm that you're actively facing with that person in the comments, and also
If they're here, if they're still here, please block them. Okay, great, they left. Go ahead.
that's genuinely disgusting.
It is.
To force them, even knowing that they're unwelcome, to forcing themselves into this space. I'm so sorry. But that's disgusting. That specifically when I'm trying to find my own skills, so that when I don't have financial support to give, that I'm still actually being useful. Because a lot of white people, you see a bunch of comments being like, I wish I could support. I don't have money. We can still do something. When the first time, or first and also a few days ago, when I was in Joker's Live and Ren was also there, and we were talking about what skills that I could actually bring to the table. And I genuinely thank you so much, Ren, for kind of for helping me sort that out. Like, because at first I said communication and listening, and then I said I want to do whatever I can, and you acknowledge that, like, that second message didn't really say anything. I'm not actually like applying how I can use those skills in a useful way that creates tangible support. That's why I think I really want to actually put that communication to action and confront, like, people, other people that are in like more powerful positions, like my own reps and senators and administrators, and actually calling them out and pushing back. And that when we as white people, like when we don't have financial resources to give, that there are so many other skills that we can be using and utilizing in a useful and, again, a tangible way. And I thank you both like so much for kind of making me realize that, and I acknowledge the amount of emotional labor that you went through even in that conversation with me, because I should know this. The information's out there. And I just wanted to express my appreciation, in that I'm 100% taking it to heart, reflecting upon it, and actually putting it to action, because my words by themselves don't mean shit. They don't mean shit without action. But yeah, I think that just to summarize that, yeah, there's so many other ways that we as white people can actually do something, other than offering like the most insignificant amount of quote unquote emotional support, mediocre as fuck. Like, we need to do better. That's all. That's basically, I think, what I took from what Ren and Joker were saying.
Okay, I'm going to be assigning new homework. So the new homework will be writing down notes about how today's session went, and reflections on those. I will allow your judgment to determine the size of that. Pax will be expected to actually continue the conversation of what Joker had said and respond to Joker and share, once Joker approves of that response, to myself and Ren. And Sam, you have additional homework. You're going to be working on writing a much better emotionally centering apology letter and recognition letter to what's her name? What was her name? That woman from South Africa here. Shoot, starts with a C. I want to keep saying chaos, but it's not chaos.
Catalyst?
Catalyst. Because we never got back to you for trying a second time. And so, just as Joker will be guiding Pax through a good response to what Ren wanted to actually hear Pax respond to, and we didn't get that. You did not provide, I'm so tired. What's her name again? I followed her, but what's her name?
Catalyst?
Catalyst. You will be doing that through me for Catalyst. So everyone here who isn't Black and trans simultaneously, or Black Indigenous simultaneously, or sorry, Indigenous and trans simultaneously, I'm so sorry. Your general homework is to write notes about this session and your reflections, and then the specific homework for Pax is through Joker, and the specific homework I said through Sam. to Samus through me. Additionally, for those who want to take it to the next level, you will also be communicating with Joker just to see how you can contribute to their efforts. And you will be, I strongly insist that you repost Mercury's Go graphic for support, and also see how you can support Ren. So, this has been fucking exhausting. It is very disturbing to me each session. Like I know, but like to keep seeing it play out in my face. Yeah, the camp's already here. We don't have the time. Yeah, and the final note I will say before I leave is at this point, because of what I'm learning about Andy's behavior, I am curious to see if strongly standing up for my Black peers is going to actually put me or other Black people in this space in the crosshairs of Andy and I don't know their pronouns, their social circle. So I want everyone here who isn't Black and trans simultaneously to be aware that me having strong boundaries for Black people will put me and others like me who are here in more danger and social sabotage by your white peers. And I hope that you will do what you can to protect us, because now I'm expecting, honestly, some sort of retaliation or at least some gossip from that bitch. But I know who I center and prioritize, so I will do that. That's it for now.
They already did. They've been reporting. So gifting has been suspended. Also, part of it is the spamming of the Cash App. Unfortunately, that's not, that will get it suspended as well. Lyra asks you, Zara, are you aware of issues donating to your fund? They got denied due to U.S. policy.
Okay, well, just go to my pinned message. But if you're gonna look at that, please prioritize Mercury and Ren right now. I do need help, but it doesn't sound like it is as immediate as Ren and Mercury at this moment. So I don't know. It is a Canadian website because it's Go Get Funding. It's not GoFundMe. It's specifically Canadian because Kate Glosson was worried that if we did a GoFundMe, the United States might eventually try just yeeting the money away.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you can just look at my pinned message, the white ad for help, where there's other ways to pay me. But like I said, for now, please prioritize Ren and Mercury in the immediate for now. Thanks. Okay, well, I said my piece. Does Ren, anyone Black or Indigenous, need to say their piece or final notes?
Yeah, I just want to say one more time, Zara, that the work that you do here is so deeply appreciated. Like, from my heart to yours. Thank you so fucking much.
Yeah, of course. Okay, everyone, we're going to close up now. I'm going to leave. Thank you very much. Bye.